Hey, good morning. This is Joe from Citrus County Porch Life, bringing you a word of the day. And the word for today, uh, January 18th, 2025, is would a drink help? And this is the quote. By going back in our own drinking histories, we could show that years before we realized it, we were out of control, that our drinking, even then, was no mere habit, that it was indeed the beginning of a fatal progression. And that is from the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 23. And here's the daily reflections. When I was still drinking, I could not respond to any life situations the way other more healthy people could. The smallest incident triggered a state of mind that believed I had to have a drink to numb my feelings. But the numbing did not improve the situation, so I sought further escape in the bottle. Today I must be aware of my alcoholism. I cannot afford to believe that I have gained control of my drinking, or again, I will think I have gained control of my life. Such a feeling of control is fatal to my recovery. This is very, very, very important reading, at least for me. And for me, when I beginning of a fatal progression, I picked up my first drink at 13. Uh, all through high school, I drank occasionally, but it was never on a regular basis. Uh, I didn't want to get into any trouble at all because I was on a swimming scholarship to the private high school that I went, and I did not want to mess that up. I knew how much it was worth, and plus the fact that I was a young kid, 13, and I didn't have the money to do it all the time. I could go out and make some money cleaning dry lint and organizing Coke bottles, fixing them for guys at gas stations and things like that, and then have a few bucks. Yeah, but when I got in college, 1967, it's hard to explain the atmosphere there. Uh, it was very anti-war, and people that didn't want to be in college were there because at the beginning of my college career, if you were in college, um, you got a deferment, an automatic deferment. You got 2S. I guess the S stood for student. So there were a bunch of party people who didn't study but drank, had parties all over campus, and it was the same time that, marijuana and LSD, mescaline, uh, all those psychotropic drugs were coming in time. Like Timothy Leary was a speaker on campus. Benjamin Spock against the war. Um, so it was a different atmosphere. People weren't serious about anything, and I was on the swimming team, but I started drinking on weekends, regularly on weekends. I was limited to, I didn't have a car, so I wasn't driving. And they really did have everything on the campus that we needed. We saw movies, they had dances, uh, they had little stores you could buy, uh, food if you wanted a snack. But we didn't have point system in college back then, but it was a meal ticket, and you could stay in there and eat your heart out, which was something I was never able to do as a kid. So uh, all my drinking was confined to campus. I never left the campus. I never really got in any trouble, but I was drinking a lot. And that I see as the start of the progression. Thank God it didn't turn out to be fatal. But believe me, it is not hyperbole when they say that if you keep drinking, your future will be jail, institutions, or death. And I have three brothers. I'm not given their inventory, but this is part of my experience. Three brothers, my brother Mike, my brother Jim, and my brother Brian, who died directly of the effects of drugs and alcohol. Alcohol started them, then they moved to drugs, and they all died. And one very interesting thing I finally saw on the news, the AMA is admitting that alcohol is a major carcinogen. My brother Jim, who got cancer of the floor of the mouth, the two great causes of that are smoking and drinking. And he did both to great excess. Great excess. He couldn't even go a minute without a cigarette or something to drink. And so it is a fatal progression. I don't think any of us, all my brothers, and my grandfather died as a direct result of alcoholism with esophageal varices. So it is a fatal progression. I'm absolutely convinced of it. All my experience has showed me that it is. I know so many people in the program who died of alcoholism, or they were drunk and did other drugs, and the combination took them out. And so, you know, but I didn't see that when I started. I wasn't saying to myself, "Hey, Joe, you're getting on a fatal progression train that you can't get off unless you join A." Because here it says it was no mere habit. And no, it wasn't. It wasn't a habit. I did it in any environment I was in. Uh, and what it says here is that if I gain control of my drinking, I cannot afford to believe that if I gain control of my drinking, or again, I will think I have control of my life. And that is fatal to recovery. Because you become abstinent, and one drink and the whole world doesn't fall apart. Two, it still doesn't fall apart. And very quickly, you've made up for the lost time. And for me, I measured beer in cases, not cans, cases. So that's my take on it. Would a drink help? For me, absolutely not. Under any circumstances, it would never help. So God bless. Have a safe and sane Saturday and see you tomorrow.